It was not a defeat. It was a disappearance. An entire legion of soldiers, men trained to take on any enemy, disappeared without leaving a single drop of visible blood. No body, no screaming, no survivors. They marched into northern Britain and were swallowed up by something that even the gods seemed to fear. The 9th Legion Valeria Victrix did not fall in combat. It has been erased from existence, as if someone or something wanted to tear it from the memory of history itself. You're about to hear about what Rome has tried to hide for centuries. The 9th was the pride of the campaigns in Britain, feared and venerated. His banner, a golden eagle, pierced through forests like a sun through the mist. But one day, she was called upon to quell a rebellion to the north, and he never returned. The empire pretended not to notice. The records were silenced. But archaeologists, erased documents and bones found in silence, say something else. The question that haunts us to this day is simple and terrifying. What killed the 9th Legion? If not even time has been able to bury this truth. The 9th Legion was born under the weight of glory and expectation. Founded in the beating heart of the Republic, it has spanned generations, civil wars, and barbarian revolts. His name echoed in the squares of Rome as a symbol of strength, order, and invincibility. When generals needed a strong arm to crush revolts, it was the 9th who marched ahead. When the enemies saw his banner, they knew that they were facing the fury of the empire. But it was in the wilds of Britain that the Legion gained immortal fame and disappeared. She was sent repeatedly to quell pockets of resistance in the north, facing enemies who fought with teeth, ambushes, and ancient magic. The empire kept its image intact, but those who returned from those missions came back broken when they returned. Until one day, they didn't come back. No soldiers, no messenger, no rumors, and over time, no explanation. If this kind of story makes you see the past with different eyes, if some part has touched something in you, as if an ancient truth has awakened inside, so give back that experience. Leave the like, not out of obligation, but because this story deserved to be told. And subscribe to the channel, not to help me, but to continue receiving what no one else dares to show. Hear what Rome tried to hide. We dig it up. The empire knew. They knew that northern Britain was a trap. But even so, they sent the Nona. Officially, it was a mission of honor to crush a new tribal rebellion. But behind the scenes, many were already muttering that it was a sentence disguised as glory. The Picts and Caledonians knew those forests as if they were part of their bodies. They attacked like shadows. They disappeared like wind. No road was safe. No ambush was predictable. And Rome, with all its imperial arrogance, decided to send 9th with reduced supplies, deferred reinforcements, and vague orders. The soldiers left proudly. The officers knew it would be the last march. In the Senate, the silence was as deafening as the roar of the legions. It was easier to lose a legion in the unknown than admitting that the empire had found an enemy that even he could not understand. They crossed the last Roman fort as if it were just another mission. But from there were no more paved roads, no walls, no messengers, only mud, trees that closed like living walls, and a silence that seemed to observe. With each step further north, the men of the 9th felt that they were being watched. The nights became restless. Fires went out by themselves. Rangers disappeared without leaving footprints. The forest seemed alive, an accomplice of something moving in the shadows. Animals fell silent when the legions passed. The fog did not disperse. It followed the soldiers like a veil of death. Some soldiers began to report voices in unknown languages during the early hours. Others, paralyzed by fear, said they saw nude figures watching from the trees. The legion was still marching, but the minds of his men, it was already beginning to break. That night, something changed. The camp was set up in a narrow valley, surrounded by ancient trees, but even before the last shield was driven into the ground, lights appeared, fires, in a circle, surrounding the Legion. No attack, no screaming, just presence, unsettling, intentional, and unbearable. The forest was in absolute silence, nor the sound of crickets, nor the rustling of the leaves, only the crackling of the bonfires in the distance, burning all at the same time, as if following a ritual. Veteran soldiers began to cry, others screamed at the void, asking for reinforcements that would never come. Some tried to desert that same morning, running without armor, desperate as children. A centurion was found shivering in a fetal position next to the Legion's eagle. And for the first time, no one gave orders. Fear had taken over. When the sun rose, half of the camp was already deserted, not by escape, by absence. Swords were stuck in the ground, shields broken, Roman cloaks thrown into the mud. No body, not a drop of blood, as if men had evaporated in the middle of the night. Those who remained walked in circles, confused, with their eyes glazed over and their speech disconnected. The Legion was no longer a unit. It was a handful of men on the verge of madness. Then came the real attack, but not as Rome had hoped. No trumpets, no screaming, only shadows that pierced through the mist and caught one by one. Absolute silence. Not even the horses were neighing. The dread was so deep that many soldiers dropped their weapons and simply knelt, as if they recognized that they were not there in front of men, but something ancestral, inexplicable, and relentless. Rome did not send immediate reinforcements. He did not officially mourn. He did not even admit the loss. When the silence of the 9th became too long to ignore, a new patrol was sent north and came back with almost no information, only fragments, buried shields, loose Roman sandals, hastily made inscriptions on the stones with phrases such as, "They see us, but they do not die," and "There is no heaven here." Soon after, the records began to disappear. The name of the 9th Legion disappeared from official lists. Senators who questioned what happened were silenced. Historians were told to redirect their attention. The empire preferred silence. It was safer than the truth. Because if Rome admitted that one of its most respected legions was wiped out without a fight, how to maintain the illusion of invincibility? Perhaps at that moment even the Senate itself understood. There were forces in the world that not even the empire could control. What really happened in that forest? Some suggest that the 9th rebelled. Tired of endless battles, the soldiers would have killed their own leaders and deserted. But there is no trail of escape. No isolated communities of Romans have been found to the north. Others speak of ancient rituals, druids who invoked shadow entities to protect their lands. A collective sacrifice, a Roman offering to the power of the forests. There are also reports that never officially came to light. Sounds that paralyzed the men, green lights through the fog, and a smell of burning iron before total silence. Theories point to Rome's secret experiments with occult forces, attempts to use magic of the vanquished against themselves. But by playing with the invisible, the Legion would have been consumed. Maybe it wasn't a war, it was a judgment, and the forest just executed the verdict. Time passed, centuries dragged on, but the forest still holds secrets. Modern explorers report the sounds of footsteps in formation, as if hundreds of soldiers were marching on leaves that do not move. Some speak of figures in Roman armor standing in the fog. Others of recurring dreams after visiting those ruins, where they march alongside faceless men towards a destination that never arrives. Archaeologists have found artifacts from the 9th in unlikely places, untouched, as if they had been left yesterday. A Roman eagle in perfect condition, buried alone in the center of a circle of black stones. Reports of compasses spinning out of control in that territory still exist. It's as if the Legion hadn't died. But she was imprisoned, condemned to march eternally in a time that she no longer recognizes, a punishment for something that one does not dare to name. The Ninth Legion may not have been defeated. Maybe it was cursed. If an entire legion could be erased, not defeated but simply silenced, what else did Rome hide from us? How many truths have been buried beneath the glory of monuments and victorious speeches? The Ninth Legion has become a whisper in the archives of time, a shadow that books avoid, an absence that screams louder than any presence. Perhaps the Empire's greatest fear has never been defeat, but the revelation, the recognition that there was something in the forests of the North, in the voices of free peoples, in the legends that Rome tried to stifle, that not even the mightiest army on earth could overcome. The Ninth disappeared, but his story does not, because every time someone dares to ask for her, silence stirs, and in that silence, the truth still waits to be heard. If this story made you feel something, if at any time you found yourself imagining the weight of glory, the pain of silence, or the fear of disappearing without being remembered, so you didn't watch it by chance. You were touched by something greater, by the need to remember what the world tried to erase. Leave the like as a form of gratitude for this time travel. Subscribe to the channel to continue accessing stories that awaken, transform, and remain. Because here, every video isn't just content, it is a rescued memory, it's truth returned.